Yo, I hope you guys are doing fantastic today. In this video, we're going to be covering what's going to be hitting the PTR on February the 23rd. As you may or may not know, we got some pretty big announcements today regarding New World. There's going to be a lot of new things getting added to the game over the course of 2023, and we'll discuss a lot of those things in the next episode of New World to Go. That video is going to be uploaded soon on the channel, so be sure to keep an eye out for that one. In this video, we're going over the PTR patch notes, what's about to hit this current iteration of the PTR starting on the 23rd. This video was recorded via my live stream earlier today, so I do address chat there a little bit, so forgive me for that, but here it is nonetheless. I hope you guys enjoy, and let me know what you think about it. What are your thoughts over this update, over what's hitting the PTR now? Are you excited about it? You ready to go? Are you happy? Is this what you expected out of New World? What's your overall thoughts? What's your opinion of the PTR? Let me know, and here we go. Hope you enjoy the video. Okay, I'm gonna go over this now, chat. All right, PTR season 1 Fellowship and Fire. So we have here that the PTR is going to officially open tomorrow, February 23rd at 10 a.m. PDT, 5 p.m. UTC. I'm not sure when that is for me, but either way, that is on the 23rd. During this iteration of the PTR, we look forward to hearing your playtest feedback on the following changes. So here's the combat changes. A few combat balance topics have been on our radar and trending in the community. Magic and ranged weapons PvE, magic and ranged weapon PvE viability, weapon balance in PvP, and equip load balance. Balance is an ever evolving part of gameplay, and we continue to make further adjustments based on feedback to create the best possible experience for players. Hey, let's go. Keo, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you for the gifted. Thank you, man. I appreciate that kind of dude. Thank you. Thank you. We have magic and ranged weapons has fallen behind in melee weapons and PvE content, most noticeably in in-game content like mutators. We will continue to strive for variability across all weapons throughout the following changes. So here's how they're going to address the ranged weapon problem mutators. They're going to increase Bane power on magic and ranged weapons 10% higher than what's possible on melee weapons. What do you guys think? 10% higher than what's possible on melee weapons. Okay. Adjusted mutations will no longer disproportionately affect magic users. Remove the 50% or 75% depending on the difficulty elemental damage reduction. Okay. So we kind of knew that was coming. They're going to remove the elemental damage reduction so that you can use like your fire staff, so that you're not taking, so the enemies aren't like resistant to void or fire damage or whatever magic weapon you're using. So they will no longer be resistant to that type, so you can use whatever weapon you want in there. That's fine. Players that like to tank will now have more options for a wider variety of gameplay. Added more taunt gem compatibility for various abilities on numerous weapons. That's kind of nice. So apparently we're going to have more taunts. So what I would assume is like we'll have more taunts on ranged weapons, right? I would think that's fine. Overall, I think these are okay. This should be interesting. Ranged weapons do get scuffed. Primarily magic weapons in expeditions. So hopefully this will help. This will be interesting to see what happens. I'm not so sure they'll dish out more damage than melee weapons still, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how this works out, man. The only thing that worries me slightly about increasing ranged viability or ranged weapon damage in an expedition is that I don't want things to fall into a ranged meta, because I think objectively and unarguably it's easier to fight at range than it is in melee damage, right? Or melee range. If you're fighting at range, the expedition becomes exponentially easier versus fighting in melee range. Because if you're sitting back with a fire staff or a bow or whatever, for example, it makes fights much easier. So I kind of hope we don't run into a meta where it's just sitting back with all ranged weapons and attacking the boss while the tank sits there and literally just pulls in all aggro. They drop a sacred on the tank, and then everybody else is just at range out of any kind of danger at all. To me, that would be a very boring meta. That's the only thing I worry about with this, but I do agree that this change needed to happen. So we'll see how this works out over time, I guess. Weapon balance for PvP. Some melee and ranged weapons are currently more powerful than what we consider healthy for PvP gameplay. In pursuit of our balance goals, we are adjusting the power, utility, and functionality of most weapons. So here we go. So we recalibrated the accuracy system and how it affects shots for the musket. Shots now have a slight deviation in their trajectory so that long-range shots are not as consistent when moving or firing without the accuracy perk. So this is going to make the accuracy perk more viable, I would assume, right? Yo, Tribal, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it, man. Welcome in. Yo, Citrus, hey, man. How are you, buddy? Welcome. Let's read this again. We recalibrated the accuracy system and how it affects shots for the musket. Shots now have a slight deviation in the trajectory so that long-range shots are not as consistent when moving or firing with the accuracy perk. I think this could help some things. I still think having this hit scan, I don't know if the capability is there to change it from hit scan or not. But this could help some, I guess. This means that you're not going to be as accurate with the musket, so you're going to want to have the accuracy perk on the musket now, I think. But what happens whenever you put the accuracy perk on there? Is that just going to make it the same as it was before? I don't know. I hope this helps with the musket stuff. To me, the musket is just a bunk weapon. It just ruins a lot of fun that can be had with PvP a lot of times. I don't really enjoy this weapon being in the game. I would rather see them just remove it and replace it with a different weapon, in all honesty and in all fairness. But it is what it is. Hopefully this will at least help something. Okay, we'll see. Adjusted crowd control effects on certain abilities and clarify the scope of some damage focused abilities. Okay, that's fine. Equip load balance. We want to have larger diversity of equip loads to make more weapons viable for all playstyles. Ideally, these changes allow players with more unique styles, off-meta builds, and personal preference to participate in meaningful ways regardless of the game mode. Adjustments to the PvP mitigation formula to provide a better experience to a wider range of gear scores. So change how rend and fortify function. This is interesting. I didn't know this was a thing. They didn't mention that in the video. And then adjustment to some attribute thresholds. Wait, what? So I know they're adjusting resilient too, because they mentioned that in that video. So I know resilient is here. They don't mention it here though, but this is going to be interesting. I didn't know this was a thing. I'm interested to see what this is like on the PTR, but we have rend and fortify. I haven't heard them mention rend at all. So that'll be interesting as well. I don't know what that means exactly, but I'm not mad at some of these changes either. I think shirking forward on light armor is incredibly strong. Whenever you're playing light armor, there should be a trade-off there without a doubt. You can survive a long time. I'm not so sure about changing resilient on light armor, but we'll see. Musket does not fit the lore, Yancey says. I'm not a fan of the game, of the weapon being in the game at all. I wish they would just remove it, if I'm being honest. It just doesn't fit to me. It ruins so many fun fights that you can have. So I don't know. Hopefully something at some point. Maybe this will fix it. I don't know. Maybe these. I don't see these adjustments fixing it altogether, or the adjustments they're wanting to make, recalibrating the accuracy. But we'll see what happens. I don't know. All right, new seasonal story: the Silver Crows. Assemble an elite team of mercenaries called the Silver Crows to help their first client, Sky. There it is, Sky. There you go. Sky, the Spear Daughter, confront a powerful warlock and the Varangian horde and halt their ambitions amidst the flame of the Empyrean Forge. There's now an improved flow for players to be aware of and claim special offerings from the team. This menu is accessible through the new button on the game menu. Look at the main menu game nav bar to find it. All character mitigation. Okay, so this is a big one here. This is what Memphis was talking about a little bit earlier. So let's see what this is. I haven't seen this yet. They didn't mention this on the video that I know of either. Players with more than one character on a single server will now have to declare only one of them as their PvP active character. So I'm one of those people. I have a character on, or two characters on one server. So we'll have to declare one of them as PvP active character. Interesting. Only the currently active PvP player may flag for PvP or fight in a war. Wow, okay, that's very interesting. So you can only flag for PvP on one character. Wow, okay. That kind of sucks. If I want to go play on my alt, that means I can't open world PvP. I'm fine with not being able to play in a war on other character, but that sucks. I can't flag. That means I can't do any PvP missions on that character either, at all. I'm 100% okay with, like, I understand not fighting in the war because there's so many alt players fighting in the war and they're trying to give more people the opportunity to fight in it. I'm not okay with not being able to flag my alt character. I think that's weird. There's a 3-day cooldown on switching active PvP characters. This will restrict players from further using alts in game to game the faction war system. So I understand to a degree why you can't flag. I think you can still OPR. I think you can still OPR because you can queue up for OPR without being flagged. So I would assume you can still OPR. I would assume you can still arena. You just can't open world PvP. And I think they're doing this because of the territory push, right? Because you have to be flagged to push territories. To me, it's a little odd. I would rather it be where you can't participate in the war, but I kind of get it. I don't know. Again, all of these small changes to the territory control system, they're all band-aid fixes in my opinion. That system is bad. It just needs to be completely reworked, completely overhauled. These are band-aid fixes. Every time they roll out a fix for this system, and this is one of them, it's not going to fix the overall arcing problem. We all want ongoing PvP all the time. That's it. Good PvP all the time, or at least that's what I would like. I think most PvP players would agree. The system's bad. They just need to fix it. Let's move on. Gear set storage. This is a big one. Need to quickly swap gear for mutated expeditions. You'll now be able to save and switch between your favorite gear sets after reaching level 25. Additional slots can be earned through the season pass and purchase marks of fortune. I'm not mad at this either. A lot of people might be mad at this part. I'm not mad at this. You can earn them through the season pass. I already said before that you can earn most everything through the free season pass anyway, so I'd assume these are part of it. Then purchasing the marks of fortune, that's fine, man. Like, I'm okay with that monetization model. I have no problem with that at all. Art, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. All the other follows I missed, I apologize, but thank you guys. I appreciate it a lot. Still do some PvP quests without flagging, right? I don't think so. Not the open world territory quest. You have to flag to do those for the faction pushing. Yeah. Yep. I'm Cross. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Thank you for the follow. None of these bandages address the issues of open world PvP. Well, it's tough, Yancey. Like, they're working on the open world PvP with what they are implementing with like these windows of time that you can go push territory. That's not coming in until the fall, from what I understand. But you can push territory. Only a certain territory will be available to be pushed. You'll push that territory. There'll be forts that you can open world PvP for. Hopefully that fixes some of that. I still think the system is overall bad. I still think that might be a band-aid fix for it. Maybe it'll be fun open world PvP. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I am a huge advocate of just redoing the entire territory control system because, again, in my opinion, it is bad. It's hot dog water, and I wish they would just completely redo it. It's just not great for the game. New expedition, Empyrean Forge. The Empyrean Forge is a new level 60 plus expedition set in Great Cleve. Team up with Sir Loth, a knight of Artorias, to stop the flow of mysterious magic deep within the necropolis. Within a necropolis. Jeez, I can't talk. There we go. All right. Well, I'm not mad at this. I mean, I'm okay with a new expedition. It looks fun. I think it'll be cool. You know, I like running expeditions in the game. They're fun. New heart rune ability, Firestorm. This looks kind of cool. Create a tornado that damages targets in its path. You can also craft more powerful versions of the heart gem rune if it's your playstyle. We've seen this a little bit earlier. It's fine. I think adding heart gem runes or heart runes to the game as time progresses is fine. It's a good way for horizontal progression. I think that's good. Rolling PTR updates. We will release new features like the Springtime Bloom event in the coming week. Stay tuned to the PTR section of the forums for updates when they're available. And then this talks about getting into PTR access, PTR backstory loadouts, and then the PTR FAQ. So overall, that's what we're getting on the PTR that is coming out tomorrow on the 23rd. So we are getting combat balance updates. So that includes the musket. That includes, I think, the colored AoE circles, right? That did include the color AoE circles. We're getting magic and ranged viability. Weapon balance for PvP, which was primarily the musket. Equip load balance, which is going to be like nerfing shirking fort and resilient on your light armor. We're getting a new seasonal story. We're getting the alt character mitigation. We are getting the gear set storage. The new expedition apparently is going to be on the PTR as well, which will be fun to go run. We're getting the new heart rune ability, Firestorm. So there's a lot coming to the PTR. So we'll be on the PTR tomorrow messing around. I'm interested to run the new expedition. I'm interested to check out the balance updates. I've already spent quite a lot of time on the PTR this week, but that's it. That's what's on the PTR. There's the update.